I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your first thought is probably a lie. And so you want to show up as an emotionally intelligent leader, a leader who remains calm under pressure, who doesn't react to every situation that arrives at your door or arrives in your inbox or even via text message, then you have to learn how to challenge these often automatic, negative, or limiting thoughts that all of us have, including me. I'm talking myself to the front of the congregation too. Okay? Today, I want to share with you 3 powerful questions you can learn how to ask yourself before you jump into reaction mode. Because here's a lesson that took me way too long to learn. The problem isn't that you have the negative or limiting thought. The problem is you react to it. The problem is you allow that thought to stop you or to take you off your game. You allow that thought to turn into an action, which takes you further away from the person that you would ultimately like to show up as. And so oftentimes, it's simply not that we're having these thoughts and emotions, it's that we are reacting to those thoughts and emotions. And so here's my question for you. What if you could train your brain to respond differently? And before I give you the questions that's going to change your life, I want to share this with you. One of the things that we have to understand is that science tells us our brains are wired with the negativity bias. And what that means is when emotions are running high, our brains have the tendency to focus on the negative. And it's not so much about positive thinking, because training your brain to respond in a way that will serve you, to respond in a way that is healthy and productive, isn't so much about positive thinking, it's about accurate thinking. So here's a perfect example for you. You ever been in a situation where someone doesn't respond to your email, or maybe you're in a meeting and they give you a one-word response, and next thing you know, your brain jumps to the absolute worst conclusions? Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they think I'm incompetent, or maybe they think I'm stupid, or maybe they're too busy for me. Blah, 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 blah. You know the vibes, okay? Because I've been there. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. Anywho, what if you're wrong? You see, a lot of this comes down to understanding how our brains are wired. When we don't receive immediate responses, our brains work really, really fast to fill in the blanks with worst case scenarios and assumptions. But most of the times, it's filling in the gaps with assumptions and not facts. I used to do this constantly until I realized that I was creating drama for myself, that I was creating moments of self-created suffering. And so if you don't actively challenge your first thoughts, your brain will automatically assume the worst. And next thing you know, you're writing a book or a chapter off of a line of assumptions and lies. I know you're saying, all right, Candy, I get it. What's the very first question I need to ask myself? The very first question that you have to ask yourself is, what do I know now? Because if it's one thing I've realized, and I don't know about y'all, but my brain does this, it likes to play in 2 spaces. Running too far ahead, worried about things I cannot control, or it likes to stay stuck in the past, worrying about things that I can no longer change. So when you ask yourself, what do I know now? It's forcing your brain to focus on facts. What are the facts of the situation? What is it that I truly know? When that person doesn't respond to my email or my text, do I know that they are disinterested? Do I know that they just don't care what I have to say? The reality is the only thing that you know right now is that they didn't respond to your text. That's it. Or that they didn't respond to your email. When you ask yourself, what do I know right now? It's a call to action that before I jump to conclusions, before I react off of that first thought, let me focus on what I know now. Not what I assume, not what I fear, but what I know now. Slowing down and assessing the facts of the situation before you react, that's emotional intelligence at its finest. That's self-leadership at its finest. The second question, who told me that? And is that actually true? This one is critical because a lot of what we believe about ourselves isn't rooted in truth. And you have to get in this habit of asking yourself, who told me that? And if it's the truth, is it serving me at the moment? Is it going to help me or hinder me from showing up in a positive and productive way? So even if it's a fact, if it's going to result in me showing up not as my best self, then I have to Focus on a thought that's going to serve me better in that situation. By the way, if you're looking for a structured process to help you get a better hold of maintaining your composure under pressure and having more healthy and productive conversations with yourself and with others, join me for my upcoming workshop, Lead Without Losing It. Drop lead in the comments or DM me and I'll send you the link. Anyhow, when we think about who told me that, that question is powerful because sometimes we're working from old conditioning. Sometimes we're working from, oh, I'm not ready for this opportunity. Who told you that? Oh, they don't take me seriously. Who told you that? Sometimes we are working on inherited beliefs, false beliefs from your parents, from your caretakers, whoever raised you, right? And although they may have wanted the best for us, it is either a false or outdated belief. Asking who told me that is a way to challenge your belief system. Who told me that I wasn't capable? And again, even if it is a fact, if it hinders you from taking positive and productive action, then you have to reframe it. Because the reality is, unchecked beliefs become barriers to your next level of success. Unchecked beliefs become barriers to having a healthy conversation with someone. Unchecked beliefs becomes barriers for developing or strengthening the relationships that we have with our loved ones or with our colleagues or coworkers or what have you. So you have to get in the habit of asking yourself questions that will help you versus hinder you from taking that next best action. Now let's look at the next question. This is my last question that can help you challenge assumptions. What else is possible can be a powerful question to ask yourself, especially if you are in conflict with someone and before you go to writing that book chapter and verse about what it is that you think that they're saying or believing about you, you can ask yourself, what else is possible? What is another perspective that's possible other than my own? Your first thought isn't always your best thought, but a limiting thought. So asking yourself what is possible not only helps you see another person's perspectives or other people's perspective, but it can also help you create a new opportunity for yourself. This question, what else is possible, forces your brain to think bigger, to think deeper, to bring you more possibilities. Again, we have to go back to what science tells us. Our brain, we have that built-in negativity bias. And when we're under pressure, it's going to go into threat and problem. And so we have to force it to think bigger, to think what else is possible can influence you to see different perspectives, to see more opportunities versus disadvantages, right? Even when you think about the question, what else is possible in the workplace? It's simply about saying, before you assume that this person is trying to be difficult or that this person is pushing back on your idea, what else is possible could it be that they care just as much about the outcome as you do? Could it be that if I ask myself what else is possible, that there's a small chance that this approach could actually work better, but you just need to give this person an opportunity to state their case? This is how we activate emotional intelligence in our lives as leaders, in our lives as family members, as mothers, as fathers, as friends, cousins, what have you. So here's the challenge I have for you this week. Before you react, before you make a decision, ask yourself, what else is possible? Who told me that? And what do I know now? Because showing up as your best self isn't about having all of the right answers. It's about asking the right questions. Talk soon.